what is the importance of visual communication? Number one, it speed up understanding. Number two, it makes messages more engaging. Number three, it helps communicate across language barriers. Number four, it strengthens the brand's identity and recognition. I repeat, number one, it speeds up understanding. Number two, it makes messages more engaging. Number three, it helps communicate across language barriers. Number four, it strengthens brand design and recognition. So we'll be looking at some of the key aspects of visual communication, which includes clarity. The message must be easy to understand. So when designing, your message must be easy to understand. So the goal must be clear. You understand? Number two, it has to be purpose driven. It has to be purpose driven. Um, each element should actually serve the communication goal. It should not actually divert the attention or the viewers. And I've seen some designs that are actually kind of like too busy. You understand? Too much information actually um swaying the attention of the the viewer or the reader from actually knowing the goal of what the brand is trying to pass. You understand? Number three, one of the aspects is it has to be emotionally resonant. It has to be emotionally resonant. Um, Good visuals evoke the intended feeling or action. Let me give you a scenario. Like for example, you're creating a Valentine themed design. You cannot use a corporate style to create Valentine themed design when we all know Valentine um is a season of romance. You understand? So when creating a Valentine design, you have to tailor the whole feel or the whole theme in the kind of like romance and love way. You understand? So that is actually what being emotionally resonant actually means. So before you carry out a design, you actually understand um what kind of emotion is this design trying to pass. You understand? So that you put those elements and pattern your design in that that way. You understand? Mm. So today I'll be giving out some key design terminologies with their practical example. So what is topography? You have heard me say this thing many times in this video. Please write down. Topography is the act of selecting and arranging typeface. Topography is the act of selecting and arranging typefaces. Um, a perfect example is choosing bold fonts for headlines to grab attention. You understand? Because that way, when you see the design, the first thing you see, the first thing is actually the first message that design is trying to pass across. You understand? Grabbing your attention to, yeah, let me see what this design or what this actually have to say. So number two terminology is layout. I've said this earlier. Layout is the arrangement of elements on a page or a screen. Arrangement of elements on a page or the screen. So if you notice, people normally read from left to right. So it'll be actually good if you place your image at the right hand side of your design, while the message you're trying to pass, that is those information, the write-ups and the rest on the left, so that when the viewer's eyes is going through from left to right to your design, is actually in a balanced tone. So there are other ways where placing the visuals by the left and the information by the right actually fits the whole perspective, but majorly we actually do it in a kind of like left to right pattern. So if when we progress in this class, I will actually give you a more detailed explanation and a detailed guide on how to carry out a good layout. So an example of this is magazine spread design or web composition. You understand? So number three, color theory. color theory. This is basically how colors interact, the emotions they evoke, and create harmony, and how they create harmony and contrasting in design. You understand? So a practical example, like I gave earlier, was that of Valentine theme. Like red mean uh love or something else. You understand? So another example is blue. By using color blue, you're trying to build trust with your viewers, and other complementary the color schemes. You feel me? Understand? So number four typography we'll be looking at is terminology we'll be looking at is grid system. This is actually an invisible structure that helps align and organize content. A grid system is an invisible structure that helps align and organize content. So this is actually uh it's very important when designing, because it actually makes the design looks balanced. I used it almost all the time. Yeah. So a perfect example is custom layout in newspapers or websites. You understand? So number 5 is white space. White space. So what is white space? White space are the empty areas that provide visual breathing room. You understand? Not actually making the design or the visuals too jam packed. Kind of like gives a balanced feel. A clean example is Apple product ads and the use of generous white space. Like I said earlier, that is actually part of their branding. It's a major aspect they use in branding. So the next one here is number 6, which is contrast. Contrast differentiates between elements to create graphics by light text on a dark background, or dark text on a light background. Understand? So number 7 is alignment. Alignment is positioning elements in a straight line or centered structure. So alignment and layouts, they are kind of like similar. They are kind of like similar. You understand? So like I said earlier, a perfect example of this. I give this example like not quite long in this video. A left aligned text is easier to read. That is left to right. The text has to be in the left, while the visuals or those other elements, the imagery and those other stuff will be on the right to make it more aligned. You understand? So the next one here, which is number 8, is hierarchy. This is organizing elements so that the most important information stand out first. You understand? So a perfect example of this is using larger font size for titles or bold fonts for subtitles. Number 9, consistency. Consistency is actually repeating good visual elements for unity and recognition. Consistency is repeating good visual element for unity and recognition. An example of this is using a brand using the same font and colors across all materials. Like if you notice now, on let me use iPhone for an instance. On an iPhone, a general typeface, I mean on their iPhone, on their MacBooks, on their watches, on their website, even on their ads too, and those other stuff that actually needs those things, they actually use one specific typeface for everything. So the last one is branding. Branding is creating a distinct identity through visual and messaging. So a perfect example for this is Coca-Cola's consistent use of red. Understand? So let me just add one, which is typeface. So what is a typeface? Typeface is the design style of text characters, which includes letters, numbers, and symbol. It actually gives text its looks and feel. For example, is Arial, Times New Roman, Helvetica, Roboto. These are all various typeface, and they actually include, like for Aria now, within Aria typeface, you have fonts like Aria Bold, Aria Italic, Aria Black, and the rest of them. But you can also think of it like this: typeface is the overall design, like a music genre. You understand? It's like a classification of a font. Exactly. This kind of like an easier way for me to put it. Why font is a specific version or weight, like a song in that genre. You understand? You feel me? So that is actually how it is.